Welcome to the Val and Ann Show. I'm Val.
I'm Ange.
All right, on the field, off the field.
We got your game plan.
Let's take your game to the next level.
Let's go.
We back at it again. Oh my gosh, it's been a long layover. But
Long layover.
we're back. I'm not even gonna say what episode it is because
Don't say it.
no, we just roll them out. You know, welcome back to the Val and Ann Show. All right, ready to bring out a little bit more insight. You know,
From our summer. Yeah, we haven't seen each other.
It's been a busy summer. We've been in constant communication, but it's been a busy summer.
The random 6 a.m. text messages. And
Yeah. Oh yeah. So what's been happening in your summer since the last time we got on our podcast here? Got on our show.
I went back. I went back in and realized that I couldn't outrun the coach in me. And through some series of misfortunes and through the help of you, I got back in your gym with a group of goalies, and then that just led into being offered the St. Rose job, and I'm right where I belong. And now it just feels right. It feels right. Yeah, and the energy is high, and so more opportunities are coming in with All In, and it just, everything happens for a reason, man. How about you?
Same here.
You coached a lot.
Coached is a wild summer. Like, you just didn't even blink. You go from May, you think you're going to have a down week. That week flies by so fast. And then all of a sudden, boom, summer lacrosse, summer football, team trainings, right? The college kids are home. And it's just like, oh, screw it, let's go.
Yeah.
You can't blink or you can't say no, pause. Like, we got to go.
Yeah.
So it's been a fast summer. I can't believe we're in August. It feels like we just got into June and out of June. I think 4th of July was like a blur.
Yeah.
Because it just went May, June, August. But with that being said, July was a great month. As far as lacrosse and the training, girls got better. Like, just watching our girls play this summer, we have to get too many migraines. They just you just see the maturity.
Cool.
And all our teams did phenomenal. Our 28s are ranked in the top, I think, 30 in the nation. Our 27s are ranked in the top. Then they're ranked like 80 or something like that, but out of 300 clubs.
Yeah,
like
that's huge.
That's
awesome.
And those girls we've watched where we had to take them and really, like, we talk about teaching the game and how to play the game together, but it's fun. It's fun seeing the developmental and the growth in the athletes, and that's the positive. Watching the athletes that came in this summer to train, from the first day where they're leaning over, bent over, now they're like, okay, what else do you have?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I want more.
Yeah.
I just ran y'all 120 something sprints.
Yeah.
No, I want more, but all right, let's go.
So that adjustment from coaching the girls in lacrosse and then your head into football now, what's the biggest difference between the girls and the guys?
I'm gonna be honest. I think the gap is starting to close a little bit between the physicality of it. You just got to turn your hat, to coaching girls across and then coaching football, where it's it's not so much of the finesse of it. It's the finesse with the physicality. It's like yesterday I was teaching a bunch of kids how to tackle in the gym. I'm like, okay, one kid came up and just put a little tap on it. I'm like, it's a bag, hit the bag, go hit it. And the next kid comes through and just kills the kid with the bag. I'm like, nah, that's how you're supposed to come down and hit. So that's the kind of difference. But now you got to get into the film study. When you're coaching club lacrosse, you can watch film on your team after, With football, we video our practices, so nice. we can watch our practice film, and break down what we did in practice. But it's self-evaluation. Everything seems the same to me. It's just, once a coach, you're always a coach. And you bring that same mantra, you bring the same mentality to each program, and you create that, you set that standard. And then now that's when you start to change the culture.
Yeah.
I was talking to a good buddy of mine. He just brought his son in. He's just got the head basketball coaching job at Madawan. And I said this to him yesterday. I was like, you got to set the standard in order to change the culture. And I kept saying it over and over because I'm like, what does that really mean though? And I was like, you got to set the standard. Whatever, you got a bunch of good athletes. But before you change the culture, you got to set the standard. No one person is bigger than the team. And I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm just like, got to set the standard. You got a group of young ladies that love a sport. And that's the big thing for me. If you really love the sport, you're going to get everything out of the sport because it's going to mean something to you. And you're going to learn everything from it. Everything that you need to learn, especially when you get a coach like you that's so passionate about the sport. Learn. They should be annoying to you to be a sponge, which I know. Like, I could just mention her name here. Lucy is how's this? How's that? She's very technical to be perfect in her movements. And that's going to translate to her on the field.
Yes.
And, that's why, exactly. And that's why you're the perfect fit for that team. And just to watch your first year, and then where are you going to take your legacy from there?
And I was waiting to pull in what we were going to talk about, the legacy.
But being, talking about as a first year head coach, a lot of people are afraid to be first year head coaches in a new program because they're worried about the past. But I always tell a coach when they go into a situation it's your time. It's your time to set that. What do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah.
So, and that's what we're talking about today on the show. Your legacy as a person, as a coach, as a player. Just as an average person walking around, how do you want to be remembered? What is your legacy going to lead to?
So I was thinking when you were talking to ask you the question of like your legacy as a coach, what goes through your mind that you want through the frustrations and then the successes? What is the constant of what you want your athletes to remember about Val as a coach?
I don't blink. I don't blink when it gets hard. I don't blink when it's easy. I'm the same way.
I love that.
All the time. And if we're up by 50, if we're down by 50, you're not going to see me sit in a corner and be like, okay, yeah, we're good. No, I'm going to coach every detail of the game because that's the standard that I want to set. But I know somebody's watching and these young kids are watching. So I can never have them be comfortable because the culture is the future. What can I set with these guys here for the young guys behind them?
I love that.
So we got to not necessarily pull them along, but we got to let them see what it feels like to play at this pace. Yes. And if we can play at this pace, we can practice at this pace, we're going to go out there and play game day at this pace. Yes. And then we won't know any other way, even when we're down. If we're down, 28-7 in the first quarter, okay, there's a problem somewhere. We got to evaluate. We got to fight our way back into this. The game is not over until it's over with me. Yeah. And, you give us an opportunity, we're going to take that opportunity. Yeah. So. Yeah.
When I walked out my first day at St. Rose, and we didn't start yet, but I was like, okay, rewind to 25 years ago when I first became a head coach. Like, what did that look like? How I felt then to how I feel now. And I would say that the biggest difference was when I walked out on the field now, it was less ego and more, how am I going to make each individual kid better? And how am I going to sit back and have them buy into this love of the game and what their legacy will be? So they have this new coach who has a history come in, like they don't know what the expectation is. And it's like, the last 25 years were not a waste. It's now to use the wisdom to be a veteran coach and turn a program around and have a big opportunity. It was very different. It is every day where I'm like, wow, I think I've grown up and I've learned values and standards and little things like first day, like no one ran to like each individual thing I was doing. And I just like quietly continued to stress it. And then when I went out there today, nobody walked. And I was like, okay, that's the little standard. Yep. You don't walk where you're going, you're going to run where you're going.
Exactly. I love that.
And the littlest thing, this was funny. I said to them, okay, get your sticks in your hands. And they're like, okay. I was like, I want to hold it when you're running. Run with your, your hand, stick in your hand like an athlete. and they're staring at me, and I'm like, okay, now take your lap around. So the one girl took the 2 hands on it, and she was like running, but she looked like she was rowing. And then the other girl flipped the toe upside down, and she looked like she was like painting. And I brought them back in. I'm like, okay, a couple of us aren't doing it right. I'm like, I told you to hold the stick up and run your arms. And they're like, yes, coach. And I'm like, okay, let's try it again. So they tried it again. So then today, the new girl, the girl next to her goes, don't hold your stick like that. I'm watching. And she goes, you got to hold it like an athlete.
Yeah.
And it was the coolest moment where I was like, I love this. This is great.
You're creating a leader.
Yeah, exactly. It was like those little things I didn't think about through my coaching career because I was worried about the outside things. And now I know those little things create the culture. And
big time.
Big time.
We always say that the little things matter, you know. And this transition from coaching girls across to football, and girls across, the little things matter. How you attack a ground ball, you know, are you playing help defense? It's a little thing. You can't stay glued and just focus on one thing. You got to see the little thing that's going to happen, see the game before it happens. Running to the ball. I don't care if you're 265 pounds. I know 360 pounders had to run to this ball 20 yards down the field. All right. And for me, that was the hardest separation of separating that, seeing that I've already been to this level and I've seen the speed of this level. And then I see the high school kids. I'm just like, I don't want to hear your excuses that you can't run to the ball. But then I got to take a step back. I'm like, well, you're not me. Yeah. All right. I got to get you to a point where you can go play at that level. Yes. But the little thing, just run to the ball. I don't care if you run 5 yards. Yeah. That's better than you standing there watching, because if you're the person running to the ball, and let's say we do what we're supposed to do on a vice tackle and the ball comes out, you're the one scooping and scoring. I was like, so that extra effort of you running to the ball, and we say 4 to 6 seconds in between each play to catch your breath. You know? Yeah. You know, and it's got to be fast. And one of the bigger things, it's such a little thing, but it's such a big thing, is that you got to have a short-term memory of negative plays. Oh, yes. Don't dwell on the negative plays, you know, and they got to have that short-term memory in order to make the bigger play down the road. Yeah. All right. Remember, learn from it, because you have to say, okay, they came out in this set before. What did they run? I made a mistake on that. I'm not going to make the same mistake. So that's you now being in tune in the game. Yeah. Self-aware. And teaching them how to see that. So we've repped our basic defense all summer long. Yeah. And now they're starting to see, oh, yeah, we can add a twist to this. Yeah. They're coming to us and saying that. And I'm just like, okay, now y'all talking football. Yeah. Before it was like, where am I supposed to be here? Where am I supposed to be there? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's cover 3. Get where you're supposed to be. But I'd much rather have him down. I'm like, well, roll him over. All right, roll it that way. Yeah. And now you're starting to see the art of it. Well, I think when we talk about legacy, you can't leave a legacy as an athlete if all you're worried about is the last play. That's how people are going to remember you. The kid that was in their head. You know, if you want to leave a legacy, you've got to be the example to bounce back right away, to be like, okay, I still have this whole game left. You know, I'm seeing that a lot. Like, back in it 24/7 is stressing out about a missed shot. How many shots you're going to take in your life? You're stressed out about one missed drive in a practice. Yeah. Like, we got to be tougher than that, you know. And talking about legacy, like, I told the girls, I don't want to remember you by the one that always went, you know, like, let's go, pick up the ball and try again. Like, that's leaving a legacy, because then the kids around you see that, and then they will remember you for that. They're not going to remember you for your stats. Because I know when I look back and when I try to tell examples as a coach, and I think my best players, I don't think about the ones who scored the most goals or had the most saves. I think about their character and how they represented themselves, you know. And then there were kids that scored a lot of goals, and I don't think about them at all, because I'm like, that's all they cared about. So what legacy did they leave? But they were inked. They were inked in an... Well, you know, everybody thinks the legacy is built up off of wins and losses. Yes. Which, to a certain point, yes. It is, yes. You know, because that's history. You know, to be the most winningest coach in a program, to have the most wins in a program, you know, but for me, like in my industry, I say it all the time to myself, like, well, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as the person that did nothing for nobody, or you just did something for somebody in the moment? And one of the greatest things is, you remember our symposium, we had Julian and all that. And, that's leaving your legacy to young men and women that will carry it on and remember you from when they started to when we get together at each other's wedding. They say, you remember you made me run those 17 110s after running 10 figure eights? And they remember that. So you'll always have a part in a kid's life, even when they become adults.
Yes.
And to leaving your legacy with, not just in a program, but with people, is one of the greatest rewards you can ever receive as an individual, especially in this industry, as a coach, as a mentor, as an all-in, with everything you do, like that. And they're going to remember you because you were part of their development, their growth as a human.
Yes.
I thought somebody was coming in.
Me too.
But it's all good stuff, even when you look at the numbers. When you're talking about program history, you're leaving a legacy of a program history. Everybody wants to be a winner. Right? But the little things add up to becoming a winner, and they might think you're hard at times. Yeah. Which is okay.
That's okay.
Right? Yeah. Because we're pushing you to be better, not just for now, but, this hard right now is going to help, 5 games down the road. Yeah. And that's what they have to understand. And then it carries it on, because now they might go be a coach as well. And then what you taught them, what I taught them, what any coach has taught them, they're going to take and they're going to carry on. So now the legacy continues.
Yes.
So
exactly.
It's all positive.
Yeah, it really is. I love that word that you threw it at me, because I was like, oh, that's a good one. Legacy's a good one. Yeah. Why are you doing what you're doing? And even for the freshmen coming in, and then the program, now that with St. Rose, I'm in a new sort of community of space, down, it's not Ocean County, but it's the Spring Lake and the Manasquans and all of that. And some of them are coming from Catholic schools, going into a Catholic school. So they all are kind of meeting people. And it's not that I do recruiting, but I'd have to go into St. Catherine's and say, are you going to come to, come?
You got to run clinics.
You got to run clinics. There's a lot, there's a lot there that is new. And one of the reasons why I took the challenge was that'll be fun. That's a fun dynamic, because every year that'll show my older kids how important it is that we do the things right, because each year we have to continue to bring numbers in. It's a school that you have to choose to go to. You don't just go there. So I have to hold that standard high and take it seriously.
Oh, yeah.
So what else? What's to end this discussion on legacy, when you think of legacy, who's the first person that pops in your head?
Yeah, that's a long list, but it all comes back to my mother, where she instilled the work ethic. And then it trickles down to my coaches. When you sit back and, when we talk about learning the game of football, you grasp things faster in high school, and then you get to college, you get a new outlook on football. Now you become a student of the game more than just playing the game. And, just learning how to watch film as a player from my coaches in college. Yeah, we watch film in high school, but then it fizzles out because we got less amount of time. In college, this is now what you do. This is structured into your day. And, just learning, as having Coach Sean and them teach us how to watch film and how to see for the little things. So he'll always be embedded into, him having a lasting impression, on me, and as well as all the other coaches that were my individual coaches, teaching me how to watch film and teaching me how to play the game, even no matter what position I played, and then you look for the little things, that's going to help you play faster. The big things that happen, that happens with your athletic ability and stuff like that, but the little things is what get you there. And that's that was a huge, move for me, and just learning from him, and that's why he's one of the best coaches in college football.
Yes.
But I always think about that when I have just people in front of me. Period. How do you want to be remembered? I want to be remembered just by who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I say sometimes I say it as a joke, but when I die, don't bury me laying me down. Bury me standing up, because I'm not the person that likes to sit around, and I'm always on the move. So if we can recreate how to put me in the casket and just move it all the time, then
oh my gosh, kind of like the superhero things.
Yeah, that's just don't bury me laying me down. I want to be remembered standing up. And I'm always in it. So.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
I love that. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for me, the thing that pops up for me as you were speaking is not a particular person. It's, I would say, the legacy of playing Shore Regional field hockey and Ball State field hockey. The legacy of what that taught me of community. So for me, it's like the legacy of community. And what the relationships that you built and the standards you were held to is what now I'm leaving that legacy for people. That's the most important thing for me, is that spin-off on these people are going to help you for the rest of your lives and going to be there. And there's a special connection there. So for me, like, even stepping into it, I go right back to what I learned from when I played, and I can't, even though I have changed my approach, with tying in like more mindset work, it will always be in me. There are certain things of, like, my coach from college was big on repetition. You're going to repeat it until you get it. Right. And I found myself doing that the other day, and I was like, it's there. Like, that's legacy. That's like, Fitz laid a legacy on me. And even Shore Regional, the first pickup game I chose was Shore Regional. Call me crazy, but if you want to be the best, yet to beat the best. Yeah. I think I can compete, and you go out there and then you learn from that game to push us to the next pace. So, yeah, I think that's a big thing. And of course, if I was to say legacy human being wise, it would be Pat Summitt. She was the first book I read as far as coaching books that got me hooked into principles, the definite dozen. And that would be it. She wrote a letter to me when I was in college. Well, I wrote to her probably 100 times, and the poor woman probably finally wrote back, and I kept it in my goalie bag. That's cool. For the 4 years, and I would always read it. Okay,
you learn something new. Pat Summitt is a legend. I listened to her talk, even though she passed, but I listened to a lot of her stuff on her Instagram.
She coached hard, loved fiercely. Yes. That's what I want. I want to coach hard and love fiercely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Till next time.
Till next time.
All right.